Setting her ancient Sufi-inspired poetry to the haunting harmonics of her music, Arooj Aftab creates a sound that is nothing less than otherworldly. But today, she's going to bring it right back to earth and keep us grounded while rocking us out on what is sure to be our most Zen-tastic episode. I'm your host, Queen GodIs, and you're gonna wanna tune in and keep it locked to the vibe of B-side.
जिसने देखा मौला देखा तेरी चश्म से आह में है जादू जादू जादू
It's okay to make noise. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Writer, singer, producer, activist, Arooj Aftab. I want to start by asking you to share with us a little bit about your name and where you're from, and then segue into introducing these wonderful musicians behind you.
Thank you for having me. My name is Arooj Aftab. Arooj means to ascend, and Aftab is the word for the sun. So it comes together very nicely as the rising sun. Also, as I am my parents' only daughter, between two of their sons, and it's nice. They nailed that.
They did. They did.
I'm glad. With me today are these beautiful musicians. This is Charlotte Grieve. She is the one-woman horn section, as you can see, playing the clarinet, sax, and flute. And then I have Tim on the drums, and Emily Manzo on keys.
Welcome. How do you feel after that? I mean, I must say that this is a joy to be here with you, but it's also a difficult task of hosting this because you really do want to zone out.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing. So how do you feel after you play some of your favorite pieces?
I feel really good. It's very therapeutic for me to sing in this style. It's very, I feel like it calms me, and it makes me feel good to experience the exchange of energies. To, like, when you're performing, you're giving, and then you're also, as the performance goes on, it kind of goes on based off of the energy that you're receiving back, and you know, so it's a really beautiful thing to hold and to experience each time.
Well, I second that. And I want to give a quote from one of my favorite poets. There is a secret medicine given only to those who hurt so hard they can't hope. There is a secret medicine given only to those who hurt so hard that they can't hope. And that's by Rumi, a great Sufi poet, and my favorite poet. And I would dare say that what you're doing is not just music, but it is medicine. And I want to know if you could, in a few words, describe what you feel the power and or the medicine of your music is. What would you say?
I'm not sure what it is or if I can put my finger on it, but it feels really healing to me. And, you know, the intention in it is always of peace and calmness. And, you know, as you'll hear, like, I think it's the long notes and the minimal amount of notes as well. In the structure of the music, definitely, it lends to an easy listening and a calming effect for me. And I've heard feedback that happens to other people too, so that's good. It's doing what it should be doing.
So we know that it has a medicinal and a meditative impact, but you self-describe your work as neo-sufi, semi-Pakistani classical music. That's a mouthful.
Semi-classical. Not semi-Pakistani.
Okay, semi-classical. There you go.
I'm very
Thank you for clearing that up. Semi-classical. Tell us about all of those components. So neo-Sufi, semi-classical music, and you are from Pakistan.
Yes.
So I got that from somewhere. Tell us about each of those individual components and how they show up in your work.
Well, Sufi music takes many shapes and forms all over the world, and it comes as a sort of what I would call a trance-based, meditative, peaceful, poetic form of Islam. And the music is very repetitive, drum-based, and dance-oriented. Like, you know, the whirling dervishes is something that everybody's very familiar with when you say Sufi. But they have a very specific, for each region there's a specific sort of form of Sufi music. For each region there's a specific form of the writers who've written Sufi poetry. And so for me, taking from all, like surveying all of that and creating a new Sufi sound that is not like cheesy, you know, like trying not to make it sound very cheesy, like, and making it sound still contemporary and digestible, you know, is why I've called it neo-sufi. And semi-classical because yes, a lot of the songs I'm really deeply inspired by, and I've taken from my own musical cultural heritage of Tumris and you know, really great singers and poets, and I'm, you know, fusing that into the Sufi part. So now that makes it sort of semi-classical. It's classical South Asian music is very different from this, but it takes from it. So, you know, there's that. And then I'm from Pakistan.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, speaking of each of these components, I'd love to hear more and just feel how it shows up in your work. Can you tell us about the next two songs that the titles of the next two songs that you're going to perform, and then let's go into them.
Yeah. So the next the next two songs, one of them is called, the first one is called Aina Balam, which means, well, the full phrase is Kya karun sajni Aina Balam, and it's an old Tumri again, and it's, for me, what I understand it to mean is like telling your female friend, or male friend, I guess there's no gender in the phrase, but like saying, you know, to your friend, hey, I'm so upset my lover refuses to respond to me or come when I call them. And so I find it really sweet, like a very sweet thing that happens often, that you tell your friend that, you know, you tell someone close to you about, or you complain about whatever your mess up love life, right? So it's very beautiful in that sense. The second song is one that I co-wrote with a collaborator of mine who's not here right now. His name is Brigu. It's just simply a lullaby. We met in college, in music school, and he's from India and I'm from Pakistan, and we were thinking about writing a piece together. And so we ended up writing this piece and leaving it without lyrics and calling it a lullaby and hoping that it would sort of, in a very subtle way, showcase our peace between the two countries.
Well, I'm excited to hear it.
Thank you.
Arooj Aftab.
सजनी क्या करूं सजनी क्या करूं सजनी
That last piece is called Lullaby, which makes me think about family. And I want to ask you to tell us a bit about your family. I know that you said that they love your music and are proud of it, but a bit cautious when you declared that this is something that you wanted to do for a living. So tell us a little bit about how old you were when this discovered you, when your work, became your calling, and what that conversation was like with your family and what the transition was like.
As I was getting out of finishing up high school and getting ready to apply for colleges, it was becoming more and more clear to me and more urgent, the want to pursue music professionally. And it's not really, it's in some places, generally all over, it's quite a difficult thing to do that, to be a professional musician. Sure. So it's not supported very well by society, or But so then I kind of started getting into the conversation with my family. They are extremely obsessed with music and have always been, and it's kind of their fault. So that was my opening line to them. My father said something interesting. He said that there's at that time he explained to me, he was like, I think you're getting confused because there are two types of people who listen and love music and people who make music, and you're getting confused. You actually are like, you listen and you love. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like, I think I want to make it, I think I know that I want to make it. And so that, that conversation continued for a little while. And then I just kind of went ahead and applied to Berkeley and got in and got a scholarship. And so it was kind of just, I kind of made it. I just did it, I had to. So that's the story. And yeah, they've been, it's been a journey, but they love the music, they're very supportive.
So while you were at Berkeley, would you say you spent most of your time studying music theory, composition, or did you split the time between study and performing and just trying it out?
Oh, definitely. There's definitely a lot of different things, performing, writing, studying theory, and yeah, all of it.
Did you have your band formed at the time that you were in school, or did that come a bit later?
No, yeah, the bands, I've been playing with a lot of different players. I've been very blessed to, be able to have so much collaboration, because you learn a lot from that, and you gain a lot of different stylistic sensibilities. But no, I had a band. I formed a more regular group, and then played with them for about 3 or 4 years, like through school, through college. And then as I was graduating, formed a newer one. And then again played for about 4 years with them. And now kind of reforming, restructuring. It's good, it keeps things fresh.
You've listed some of the artists who've inspired you, including Jill Scott, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, and the list goes on. And when I listen to it personally, it reminds me of one of my favorite artists, which is Sade, and it's because of the quality of the tone, the quality of some of the vocals. I want to know about the things that inspire you, that feed you, that are, just not necessarily people or artists, but like what feeds you to actually keep going, especially when there's so many obstacles to being an independent artist and be an artist born to, a family or community that really is cautious about you doing this. What literally and figuratively feeds you? You can even tell us what you had for breakfast.
Well, like I said earlier, it's really therapeutic for me. I feel very wonderful creating this music, and I feel really wonderful singing. And so that's definitely something that, lets me know that it's going to continue whether I can or cannot. Like, it's not going to stop or go away. It's just naturally happening. The inspirations for that are also just, it is that as well, just that, you can be able, there's so much going on in the world. It's very chaotic, it's very stressful, it's very negative, but then it's also extremely beautiful and celebratory, and full of good things, people doing good things out there. So, you know, the music has to my music is an expression of that for me. And when it gets heard by other people, it's wonderful that they tell me that they feel the same way. So it's, you know, those two things help me keep doing it.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about love and language. Let's start with language. So in Pakistan, the two main primary languages that are spoken are Urdu and English, but there are a long list of languages. And can you tell us what language is most of your work sung in, and how many languages do you speak? And when you make a choice of which language you're going to create, and what is that process like?
So most of it is in Urdu. I can speak English, Urdu, and Punjabi, which is spoken in Punjab. You know, it really depends on when I think about a language for my work. It depends on it's hard because sometimes, you know, you're neither here nor there. You're thinking about the lyrics half in English and half in Urdu, and so then it's just like jammed for a little while, and then it comes out and you write something, or you consult someone, or you you know, write around Sufi poetry that's already there is what I've been kind of doing. I'd like to sing more in Punjabi, but my accent is not great. So I'm just sort of like meditating on that, figuring out how I can pull that off in a way that's not offensive to the language.
Well, the truth is, music is so powerful that it doesn't matter what language that you sing in or perform in, that you know people always find a way to feel it. But the flip side of that is that, you know, a lot of poets who I've spoken to all over the world say that it's difficult for them not always be able to speak, sing, or perform in their native tongue, and then the process that it takes to actually be fluent in your native tongue, especially if it's an ancient language or a language that's just not widely used, it's very intricate. And so, you know, I just want to acknowledge you for really, you know, wanting to integrate that, and for brushing up on your Punjabi. We look forward to those songs. And speaking of looking forward, let's go into your next two songs. Tell us the titles, and then we are excited to hear it. Okay.
So the next song is called Borough mein pade jhoole, which translates to the swings. The swings are swinging in the garden, or are present in the garden. It's a song about nostalgia, so it's sort of thinking about something that happened and just being very sort of melancholic about it, not missing it or hating it or wanting it back, just kind of just thinking about it. So it's like the swing is just swinging in the garden. And then...
Well, we'll save the next song.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah. Sweet.
So MTV Iggy says that your sound is like floating far above vast landscapes as eternity contracts and expands simultaneously. And your Bandcamp page says that your sound is like dark post-pop meets mystic muse, a masterful expression of lyrical and acoustic soul, tripped out through analog voltage and experimental digital filters. As a poet, I can appreciate the fact that you have some of the most lyrically ornate descriptions of your work ever. And all of that to describe the music that's coming from what I believe is your first album. Mm-hmm. We saw a beautiful graphic up there, and that album is called Bheard Underwater. Tell us about that title, and then tell us what we can expect on that album, if there are any features, what the inspiration was, what your intention is with that piece of work.
So the title Bheard Underwater came around from just thinking about doing this body of music that are classical, that are traditionally kind of taken from classical Pakistani or South Asian music, and reinventing them and rewriting them. And just, you know, it took me a very long time because I do not have classical, South Asian classical formal vocal training.
Okay.
So I sat with the tunes for a while, just kind of, you know, listening to Begum Akhtar, listening to Bade Ghulam Ali, listening to their versions of these songs, and really trying to learn them. And then, so that when I reproduce the music, the intention is that it comes out to be in a very honorary way, you know? So I took my time with that, and then in the process there was a lot of, you know, feeling like I don't belong here, or feeling like I'm, in a very positive way, like being so excited about making this music, but also feeling like a bird who is flying underwater, like not drowning, definitely doing positive, great things, but like not in the right space, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of where the title came from. And then the CD is actually here. You can get it on your way out.
Are there any artists featured on the project?
Yes. So there's basically some really beautiful artists on the CD. There is a Greek accordion player. Her name is Magda Giannikou. She plays really beautifully. I was very blessed to work with some great musicians who allowed me to produce the work, allowed me to produce their playing so seamlessly. Like they really just got it, and they played that way, and it was amazing. There is this Pakistani flute, bamboo flute player, Bakir Abbas. He's on the first track. He's just phenomenal. Like, I've never heard anyone like him. There is a sitar player, a young contemporary from Pakistan as well. I wanted to have them on board the album because it was being made so far away from home. I wanted some of it, you know, not just all the musicians who are around me over here. Yeah, and there's Sunny Singh who plays trumpet, and he sounds awesome. And there's Jorn Bielefeld, he's playing drums, percussion, and some like light synth stuff. And then there's Brigusani who plays acoustic guitar and also co-writes some of the songs.
Awesome. Would you say that the album has an overall message or theme, or would you say that you summed it up in terms of it representing you feeling like you're in a place that you don't belong?
No, I think it's not. That was the initial idea, but then we found our place, and we definitely find ourselves belonging through the journey of the album and by its completion. But the message, I mean, it starts with a sort of prayer, and then it goes on, like the track listing definitely takes you through a sort of story where, you know, first you're a little lost and you're sort of complaining about why your beloved is not responding to you. And then, you know, you have a nice sort of moment to yourself where you just are actually meditating with lullaby. And then, you know, you go into Baghume, which is, you know, the sort of chill, nostalgic moment and then the end is a little dark and kind of fiery, and talks about just sort of the distance, like being away as yourself from something.
So there's a strong sense of spirituality and activism that comes up in your work and also in your message. Can you talk to us? Do you have any particular spiritual practice or routine or ritual that shows up or that supports you as you take this journey as a traveling artist? And then also in terms of your activism, like what are some ways that your music and your lyrics jump off the page and stage into the community and start to hope to make change?
There isn't really that much of a ritual. I would say the ritual just is when we rehearse. Like, I think that that is the sort of peace meditation moment. I try to do that. It's oftentimes not completely effective. It's not really in my routine to do that, but I always intend to have it be there more, just like something that grounds you, something that makes you feel good. The activism, the music is very subtle, and the lyrics are very just, you know, they hint in a very subtle way at any kind of political turmoil. So it's like really the next album that I write, it will be a little more dark and a little more gritty. But I do the activism part by when I have the mic, I say stuff, you know, like when somebody asks me questions. So, you know, I definitely have to say Free Palestine in this moment, at least.
Well, one of the things that you've said is that a lot of places where you find yourselves traveling and on tour, you've been completely disrespected, and it's been totally worth it. And I thought that that was a powerful statement because usually that deters people. I mean, it can be a scary thing to have a message and to want to speak up and to even say Free Palestine. That's a really potent and powerful message. A lot of people disagree. A lot of people, you know, have an amazing amount of resistance to the idea of that. So it's very courageous for you to actually say that and to say that through your work. And in your message, what gives you your courage to continue to share a message and to say and to represent these things that have a lot of resistance in the world?
I mean, I just think it's like our moral responsibility as human beings to sort of strive for peace, you know, like peace and not conflict. And if it's weird to me to not say something when I have the ability to, and I have nothing to lose, you know, except like being silent is not saving us. So I definitely feel that it shouldn't continue that way. And there was a long time where I was quiet because, you know, I was very focused on being a musician and having this image and being like just very clean slate and not and again like staying away from conflict, right? But it's just not possible anymore.
Well, I believe at the heart of all justice and all revolution really is a simple principle of love. And to quote my favorite poet, he says, "I was dead, then alive, weeping, then laughing. The power of love came into me and I became fierce like a lion, then tender like the evening star." And that is Rumi again. As we segue into your next song, is there a message of love that, or how does love impact your work, and how does your work impact your relationship? Just tell us really briefly, and then let's go into the next song.
It does. I feel like it's very self-explanatory. If you hear the music, it's all love. There's nothing else there. That's all I can say. I look for it. I really seek it. I really try to stay in the light. And that's how it's been working.
All right, to that. Well, in the name of love, I want to say thank you so much to Arooj and crew for the really peaceful and powerful and empowering performance that you are blessing us with as we segue into the next song. And I also want to say thank you to our guests at home who've been tuning in and taking this journey with us. So let's go into this next and final song. Arooj.